All right, last week we started Built Easy LOI training. Today is day 5 where we're actually uploading the data to the CRM. And if you have a team, we'll be going over specific users, how to do round robins and so forth. So day 1, we went over the general introduction, what is Built Easy LOI, and doing some basic setup. We've set up our domains and user accounts. We've compiled and exported data using PropStream and batch leads. And then we've also cleaned data yesterday through Phone Validator and Bulk Email Checker. That is the number one most important video. If you want to take anything when it comes to data, that is the most important video. So you can go rewatch all those on the Facebook group, and they'll also be in the training section. With that being said, let's jump into today's. So uploading data to the CRM. We've already cleaned the data. We've already, filtered. We've already done our data management and so forth. This is basically the last step before we get started. We're going to upload the lists together. If you have a list as well and you want to do that simultaneously or rewatch the video, you're more than welcome to. Basically, we're going to take the data that we cleaned yesterday and we're going to upload it into the system. Now, there's a few things we need to do beforehand if you're a brand new account or you have a lot of team members in regards to like round robining to specific users or employees or so forth. We need to make sure that's accurate because the user is assigned to a specific email account. And if they're not assigned on that property, then it will send with whoever else is assigned to it. And especially if you've changed people in the past, right, on those leads, well, then they're already previously assigned to somebody. And if they're an admin, they'll use whatever's existing. If they're a regular user, then they're restricted to only using their own email. So keep that in mind. Admins have the ability of using everyone's emails, using everybody's phone numbers. Okay, so here's what I want to go over. First, let's look at the staff members. Okay, so we already have a few in here now. These are all just regular email accounts. For the purpose of this, let's go to the email services, dedicated domain, and we'll copy this. And then what I'll do is we'll go back to staff and we'll create one employee for that. So for this right here, we'll just do a Lauren at LC at Lauren buys houses. So you have one account already set up, and we'll give this, we'll keep it as admin so you guys can all access it. And so when we actually set up our campaign, our marketing for LOIs, we're going to assign it to this user right here. But the very first thing we need to do before we upload any data is we need to go to our low equity workflows. And once you set this up, you're good. You don't have to keep doing this. But there's 2 ways to do it, okay? If you know specific data that you're uploading into the system is for one person and one person only, then I would duplicate this workflow and literally just put in their name. So let's just say right here, this is for Lauren's leads. This way, you know, when you upload the data and you add it to an automation and you know it's, let's say, her specific leads, well, then you would only send it to this particular workflow. Now, I'm actually going to publish this, and let's make sure all this is correct. Another thing is you want to make sure that the assigned to user here is very specific to Lauren, because that's her leads in this case. Now, if you, and we'll go over the round robin feature as well, if it's a lot of data, and it's just for everyone distributed. You need to put an assigned to user. If you fail to do this, your workflow will not activate. There needs to be a user here. We'll use that for example purposes. And another thing, when you do duplicate, you want to make sure that the pipeline again is low equity and then new properties for these. Then go ahead and click on allow duplicate opportunities. Once you do this, you'll have the ability of literally uploading the data and assigning it to Lauren. We'll go ahead and save this. Let's say on the alternative, you just want to upload a list of data and it wants to go to everybody, let's say 3 people. We're not going to name it specific. Maybe you want to put 3 names in here, and then that's fine after you duplicate it. But let's just, for now, what we'll do is we're going to add user. and we're going to choose, let's say, Devin, Jennifer, and Lauren, assuming that these emails are correct. Right now they're not, only Lauren's is, but for example purposes here, that's what we'll do. And then you notice where it says split traffic equally. This is what we want. Okay, so if let's say you upload a list of 1,000 properties, what's going to split equally between all three of you. And so when you do send out automated emails, it will send based off of the assigned user here. So I'm going to go ahead and click save. And I'm actually going to rename this one and just put round robin, since I know it's only you three in here. But basically, you know, this account, this workflow is the round robin, and the other one's very specific to Lauren. So I'm just going to upload it to Lauren's account. But it's the same idea. The setup is the same. Once you have this set up, you don't really have to touch it ever again unless you add new employees or new partners or so forth. When you do update the domains, I would go back into the round robin one, go to assign user, and change and make sure that they are the ones that have the correct emails. So the next step after we do that is literally just uploading the data. Now, I want to restate, before you upload the data, and if you duplicate it, make sure that you have the, under create and update, it's linked to the new properties. Another thing is, let's make sure that in our settings, if you haven't checked it already, please check it, the allow duplicate opportunity. Now, I've already checked it for your account, so this account's fine. Make sure that is checked on, because if, let's say, you have one agent and they have multiple properties, well, we want them to populate multiple opportunities. So that's how you set that up. Let's go to the contacts. The contacts are really simple. We're going to go ahead and download this file as a CSV. So I think I already have it downloaded. So we can go ahead and literally just click import contacts. We're going to upload a file. And then I'm going to choose the Devin one and let it upload. Again, if you go to the help center, because mapping might be a little bit different in your case, because if you got it from batch or prop stream or so forth, the mapping is really, really simple. So if you go to how to import and map context in your CRM, down here, you're basically just doing address to address, city to city, state to state. County is specific to tags, so keep that in mind. Zip code might be postal code in the system, agent name, so forth. So just follow along. If yours is worded a little bit differently, just make sure it's assigned to the correct one. So we're going to go ahead and click next. This is the mapping phase. So we have the address right here. We're going to want to select the address. We have the city. We're going to want to select the city. North Carolina is the state, so we're going to go ahead and select state. County, we're going to want to select tags. This is where it's different. And then property zip code is going to be postal code. Total loan balance. Okay, now in our system, we call it, I believe, principal. So remaining principal instead of total loan balance from batch leads. Loan type, they automatically took it, so that's fine. But if not, you would search for loan type. Loan estimated interest rate. So again, if you just type interest, or let's go with loan. So loan rate in this case. ARV is ARV. So estimated ARV. And then MLS listing amount. I believe we have it as asking price. And then we have the agent's name, their phone number, phone type, email, so and so. Again, we're going to choose the name. We're going to choose, that one's already set to phone number. Choose phone type for the phone type. Notice how there's multiple phones for like direct to seller and stuff. Just choose the phone type, because that is phone one. And then the email, you're literally just going to choose email. The status passed is irrelevant. That was just for your email verification, so we can ignore that. Don't click on the box that says don't import data in unmatched columns. Because if there is statuses, or maybe you have other columns that are not needed to be put in here, then we don't want to select anything. So once you do that, we'll go ahead and click next. Here in the import name, you probably want to name it something specific. You can call it low equity leads and maybe the list of data that you pulled, or maybe you just want to say low equity leads and put a date. You can name it however you want. This is really just for organization purposes. So for this right now, we're just going to call it low equity leads. And then I'll put a date in here, which is 8/21. You can create a list for it as well if you want to. So you can go to that list, but it's not really needed, especially if you're going to be uploading data like every week or every 2 weeks. And this is a small amount of data anyways. And then you want to click on the advanced. In here, make sure you check email as primary if it's not selected already. And then we're going to choose the very first one where it says add new and update existing contact records. So what this does is if you already have an existing agent in there with a property, but you uploaded a new property, well, it's going to update the existing and still create an opportunity. Down here in the tags, well, these are real estate agents. So maybe you want to tag them for future use and say these are agents. You also want to tag them as low equity list because this is a low equity list. So you know where this came from. It was a list we pulled and we uploaded. We already have the tagging of the county. So all your counties that are inside of here will be tagged automatically so you can filter. You could, if you want to, add a whole separate column in here for tags if you want to be extra. If you want to be extra, you can do that. And then basically you don't have to set up tags here because you would do it inside the mapping section. But for now, agent, low equity list, and we already have the county. I'm not going to put state as a tag in here because of the fact that you have multiple states in this list. Now, if you are uploading a list that's individually state, you could put that tag as well. The next step, and this is important to do here and not in your contacts. If you do this here, if you have the same agent inside of here with multiple properties, it'll add and create the opportunity. Now, if you just upload this list directly, what's going to happen is only one agent is allowed, and it's going to overwrite the property address and the property details, right? The pricing and all that stuff. So what I would suggest is add the new contacts to a workflow and campaign right away so that you can get the opportunity created. Here in this case, again, if you know this is for a specific person, so let's scroll down to, you guys have everything activated. So notice right here, we have the new leads for Lauren, and then we have the round robin. For this example purpose, we're just going to choose Lauren because it doesn't really matter. It's only 40 something leads. Let's say you did have the round robin set up. You might want to choose that, or you maybe duplicated other ones and you have other people very specific to a certain state or county or so forth. So for this, we will choose Lauren for this example. And then once that's done, all we have to do is check this box to agree and confirm, and then hit submit. You will see that these will populate opportunities in your new property leads, okay, in your pipeline. Might take a few minutes for all of them to populate, depending on how much data you have, but here's all your contacts now. And then if you go to your opportunities, you're going to start seeing them populate here if we open up the low equity. So here's all of the properties, 40 properties. So every single one of them is here populated. At the same time, in the background, your offer, your cash to seller, your estimated closing costs and agent fees, all of that has already been calculated based off that upload. So if I were to click on this property right here and scroll all the way down, we have cash to seller, additional cash to seller, estimated equity, and estimated agent and closing costs are already calculated to use in your email when you do send. So this is literally done. That's all you have to do to upload a file. Now, I don't recommend sending emails at 6:22 in the evening, but if you want to get started in your opportunities, you can go and call and process and email an LOI directly, and everything's activated. When you put a property in here, if you take this card and you shift it over in here, and I'm not going to do it because it will send it out in 3 minutes. You have a 3-minute wait time. But if you wanted to, and let's say you want to send all your offers in the evening, but you just don't want it to show up till 9 o'clock in the morning on whatever time zone, you can go to your automations in here and go to low equity, and where it says auto email offer to agent, you can add what's called a wait step here. And in this case, it waits 3 minutes, but you can do an advanced window where it not only waits 3 minutes, but it only sends Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. your time zone. If you do that, if you were to send them out right now, I guess it depends on what time zone you're in, because you might be before 5 o'clock, so it might send out. If you send it after the 5 p.m. on your time zone, it will not send out that email until the next morning, 9 o'clock. I'm not going to activate that. You're more than welcome to play with it. But to recap how this works, because the most important thing is knowing how this pipeline works, right? So we're not wasting too much time figuring it out. You can move this lead over here when you're calling and you're talking to them. When you're trying to vet them, maybe you move them there when you tried calling them once and they didn't answer, whatever, you can still keep them there. The moment you have a conversation, or hell, they don't answer you, I would just shift them to email LOI here. Once it goes into this stage, again, you saw the wait time was 3 minutes, and if you changed it to any other timeline, that's up to you. But after that 3 minutes, it will automatically send them the email offer. But they'll get the email LOI. Now, I would say if you want to make it more your style, go in there and modify it a bit so it's like it's your touch, your feel. Maybe put your signature at the bottom, how you like it, or go ahead in your user or staff. Let's just say we're using this one. You can actually put your own signature down here and enable signature on all outgoing messages so that it's custom, very specific to you sending the email out. You're more than welcome to do so. Once the LOI is sent, if they do reply, it'll show up in this section. No matter what follow-up stage it's at, if they reply, they'll show up in your attention, positive or negative. So whether they accepted your offer or they need more information or they just flat out reject you, they'll show up in your attention right away. Think of it from a workflow perspective. What do you want to do every single day when you get on your computer? You want to go in here and check your attention. That's the first thing you do. And then you handle all those. And then, of course, you call and process more agents, right? And send more LOIs out. That's really all it's about. In the case that they book a meeting, it'll show up right here and it'll show up on your calendar. And you'll probably get a notification as well saying, hey, you have somebody that booked a call. And in the case of somebody rejected your offer, you would move them here and they would automatically give them a discount if they haven't got one already in the follow-up. And if they already have, then I would probably manually go in there and say, hey, how can I make this a deal? By reevaluating it manually. Or just forget about it and throw it into the out of follow-up or you're lost. It's up to you. If it went through all of the follow-up sequences and we got no response, it'll be in your offers, no response, attention, call, text. I hope that's enough for you guys to get started.